in order for there to be a proliferation of entrepreneurial activity in the economy, we need to have the right environment. So I suppose if you look at anything in the world, any centers where there's excellence, we sometimes talk about the Jamaican runners. What makes Jamaica special? What makes those runners special? There's something in that environment that makes those runners special. It's even the fact that there were runners before, the Usain Bolts and the Powells of this world. Even if you look at Silicon Valley, what makes, this WhatsApp deal has obviously been a buzz, in the media the last month or so. But what makes entrepreneurs like those that started WhatsApp and Facebook, what set the precedent for them was the fact that the environment was set in Silicon Valley for these entrepreneurs to flourish. So our premise is that if we create this environment within South Africa, within these under-resourced communities, then we can expect to see greater entrepreneurial activity at that level of the economy. And those entrepreneurs, it's almost like a bucket. So the more you push from the bottom of the bucket to the top, the more the bucket starts to tilt, and then that spills over into the next bucket, the next bigger level, the next I suppose, opportunity. So moving these guys from running spaza shops to running, a logistics business. And that's our view on entrepreneurship and how individuals should migrate through that process. We've had many failures along the way, but failure has never been the destination. It's just an element. It's a piece of the journey that we've appreciated or we've accepted to be a reality. But we know that we'll still see many more failures as we move towards that R1 billion fund. But yeah, that's essentially our learnings through our structuring at Awethu.
In business, there's a concept called an organization life cycle, which starts, let's call it the courtship stage before the business is formed, and it's the idea stage of formulating what business you're going to go into. Then there's the next stage, which is infancy, infant organization. The failure rate statistically in infancy is 9 out of 10, here and in America. If the business succeeds in going through that, it gets to a more advanced stage and continues up the path, but at any stage problems occur. So it's very important for the leader of a business to have a style of management which is appropriate to the stage of the cycle. For example, when you start the business, all of us here have started businesses. When you're in infancy, everybody's working 16 hours a day. Everybody is totally customer focused. You're following that dream, you want to make it happen. You're battling to pay salaries and everything, sacrifices have to be made. Then you're successful. You pass through that stage, and as you start succeeding, a new fear comes to you because you're in a small niche and now you're worried, you're vulnerable. So now you start thinking creatively again about related businesses or expanding into other geographic areas and hedging your risk and growing the business. Because the business is dynamic, it can't stay as it is. And then you get to a point where the administrative procedures, the checks and balances, the controls become very, very important, and you've got to bring those in. And there's a lot of conflict that takes place in all of these different stages because people are different. You bring in a financial person who's got a completely different style from the founder of the company, and there's tension. And if the founder is a person who doesn't have mutual respect, you've got a problem. So you will find at that stage that the most important thing is to develop a complementary team where trust becomes the single most important thing. Trust and mutual respect. If you've got that in your organization, you can take on the world.
The problem. But yes, let's think how we can cultivate entrepreneurship.
Anything else you want to add to that? Or
yeah.
Take it to the audience? Yeah.
Yeah, if I could just add something to that, in terms of cultivation, what we've noticed is that in South Africa, the solutions that exist to support entrepreneurship exist in silos. They don't collaborate. There is no ecosystem. And a lot of them focus on improving ability, entrepreneurial ability, or business management ability. So we strongly believe that talent is a combination of behavior and ability. So what solutions exist in our economy or in the entrepreneurial space in South Africa that helps encourage a development of behavioral development? And what we've seen from the guys that we work with in the township day in, day out, it's about having that reference point. That, so I mean, if I had to, just as out of curiosity, ask the audience, how many of you actually know a successful entrepreneur that maybe generates over 10 million rand a year from an under-resourced community or from a township, just by a show of hands? And one there. So, I mean, and that for me is case in point. The fact that there are no reference points, so you can't expect social mobility when there's no reference points for new behavior. And that's what we need to inspire going forward. We need to change. So, I mean, a lot of you guys sitting in here are this country's future entrepreneurs, future successful entrepreneurs. And we need you to inspire the behavior of those that will follow you. You know, they say you stand on the shoulders of giants. And we need those that follow you to stand on your shoulders. So I think, importantly, what we're trying to preach, the gospel we're trying to put forward is that we need to find ways to inspire entrepreneurial behavior, the right behavior. I mean, and it's not just about ability, and hard work is important, yes, but we see so many guys in the township that wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go back home at 10. They get back home at 10. They're working hard, but somehow they're not just breaking through. And there's something in that they're working hard, but just not working smart. But how do they know how to work smart if they don't know who to follow or what to follow?